Hey,
Hi.
everybody, this is Randy Baxter. I'm the president of Asset Positioning Services. Um, I'm going to tell you a story today. And I don't know, some of y'all have been with me a long time. You've seen many emails out there that I say, hey, I only teach you what I know, and I only teach you what I do. And and I want to be so sincere about that, sort of like going on the Oregon Trail and following somebody that's never been on the trail is a lot harder than following somebody that's already been on the trail several times. So, I just want you to pay a lot of attention to what I got to say here. And I'm going to teach you how to have a money day. And I learned about the word money day from one of my mentors, Mike Stranka. And he said he loved a money day. That was the day when he just went to work and knew he was going to make a lot of money. And he said, uh, once you have the first success, it's easier to have the second success, and then it's easier to have the third or fourth or fifth success. Well, he's better at me. He would have days where his money days would be $300,000, $400,000 in commissions. But I'm not as good as he is. So I'll tell you the rest of that story here in a little bit. But um, he's been doing it longer than me too. So our topic today then is how to have a money day. And that's what we're going to be covering today. If you have a pencil and a piece of paper, you probably ought to grab it because you need to take a few notes here. And it's very, very important that you get this order right. But if you plan correctly, and some of you have erratic money days, some of you don't have many money days. Um, some of you have a lot of money days. But if you plan correctly, you should have a money day at least twice a month, but it's better to have one each week. I try to have one every week doing something, but I have to look at my calendar. I have to be able to read my calendar. I use a 90-day calendar. Um, but today I want to, everything I say to you, I want you to reference as if you're thinking about your current plan. So, so if your current plan is anything like mine, you're going to start having money days. So, you know, you know, you have to have a plan to be in control of your income. See, a lot of people that I run into don't have a plan for their income. They're just out hitting and missing, shooting blanks, missing their targets. And I just want you to know that I miss targets all the time, but I know how many targets I need to hit and what I need to do to make those targets work. So, so a long time ago, I had a broken heart. I was in college and I went to this Catholic priest and I said, what am I going to do with my life now that I'm 19 years old and it's all destroyed? He said, well, Randy, you got to start back at the beginning. So, so this means that you have to have a marketing plan. And so, I've asked you all to send me marketing plans. And I also know that the people who don't send me marketing plans are also the same ones that don't have a lot of income. The ones who send me marketing plans, I start watching their income go up. So it's okay if you don't send one. Uh, uh, Probably make more money if you did. So I have a successful project I call the 90-day plan, the cycle of success. I use it because I can control my actions and plan my time and my time off. So, I know when I am succeeding and when I need to either increase my tempo. We talked about tempo last week. I know when I'm succeeding when I need to either increase my tempo or my momentum. And those are two different things. It also allows me to look into the future. I can look in right now. I'm looking into October, November, and December. And I know I want to be off the last week of December if I can. I know I want to be off the last week of November because that's Thanksgiving. I want to just chill out and have a good time. And I want the people that work for me to have a good time. So we have to get our work done. So in the next 90 days, I have to take 14 of those days out. And I have to be aware of when I'm going to take them out and what I'm going to accomplish on the days I'm going to come to work. So, so I know when I'm succeeding, when I need to either uh, increase my tempo or my momentum. So let's, we talked about tempo. The tempo is, what is your average case rate right now? Okay. My case rate with all my licensees is almost 2 a day right now. So I know that the people who listen to me, we're going to do about 60 estate plans. We could do more. Okay. But it allows me to look in the future. I know what my income, right now, I can go in and tell you what my November income is going to be. I can go in and I know what my October income is going to be. I know what my accounts receivable is going to be. Okay. But it's because I measure what I do, and my mission is I need to be more efficient and have either bigger money days or more of them. And I know how hard some of you all work. I've listened to you. I've talked to you. So, here's what I do. I know, and I'm going to say what I do because, I tell you, I'll teach you what I know and I'll teach you what I do. You don't have to do it, and everybody's different, but I know I have classes to teach on Mondays, and some of y'all attended them at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. I do that to show you the order of, or the progression of things you need to be doing. 9 o'clock is about suspecting. At 10 o'clock is about converting those suspects to prospects. 11 o'clock is the go-to first interview, and the next hour is the retire now software. That's what I do for a living. You don't have to do it. I mean, if you come to me to learn how to make money in the financial services business, that's the only way I know how to teach you is what I do. So you don't have to do it, but I can't teach you what you do. So I know I have those classes on Mondays, and that they consume a lot of my energy. So I plan not to do much on Monday afternoon. And I think I told y'all last Monday I thought I'd sit there on the porch and watch my birds for a while. I have a little bird sanctuary I built just for fun. Okay. But Monday afternoon, I can use that for old business, and I can catch up if needed. I can just chill out and know that Monday, after I teach my classes, I can do the things that just really have to be done. So then I teach this class at 3 p.m. every Eastern Standard Time every Tuesday. I try to be of the right words, religious about it, but I try to be consistent. And I want you to know that you can have that class. And on this class today, I like to just talk to you about what's on my mind. But if you want a regimented class, you need to start thinking about attending those classes on Monday. So that means, so if I'm going to teach classes on Monday morning and then do a class on Tuesday afternoon, and that means I have some office time. I can come here in my office and teach the class on Tuesday. That means I can have appointments come in on Tuesday morning. And we've had one come in this morning. And then I'm here at 3, and at 4 o'clock today, Eastern Standard Time, there's another appointment coming in. Now, is that tempo or momentum? Well, tempo is the average number of cases you write per week or month or quarter. And momentum is how you step up that effort by increasing what it is you do that created your tempo. So this means that if I want office time for front end sale, on Tuesdays, I can have office time for front end sales. I can have trust reviews. I can do back end sales. I can do future sales for anybody who wants to come into the office. And, I don't know if you have an office or not, but lots of people do want to come to an office. So, if you don't have an office now, thinking about joining up with an office that gives you temporary office space. I'm sitting in one right now because my office is busy right now. Somebody's in there making a sale, I hope. But, I want to be in control. And a lot of times when I interview people about their income and everything, one of the first things I realize is they are not in control, or they choose not to be in control, or they're not willing to do the things that make them be in control. So think about that. There's a different There's a direct relationship to the number of suspects I have on my list and the number of conversions I have from suspect to prospect. Folks, if you're a weak suspector, you're going to be a poor prospector. And if you can't pick high quality suspects, people that you think are going to benefit from a conversation with you about their estate plan, you're not going to be very good at this. You know, and I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm just saying, hey, if you're a lousy suspector, you're not going to have a good income unless you're in a real rich market and you only have to make 1 or 2 sales a year. So I'm gonna have to go up there and move that out of there. Just a minute, I got a little technical issue I need to fix. Okay, there it goes. Okay, so what you need to know is there's also a direct relationship to the time I have to make the sales I like to make. It's a direct relationship. And if I want to make, I'm just going to use this as an example. If I want to make $9,600 just in trust sales this month, I need to sell 8 estate plans. Well, I know that those working with me and doing what I show them how to do. Right now, we're on the path to do 60, maybe 60 estate plans. But here's what I know, and you've heard me say it before. I know for every 10 suspects, I will sell 3. Those are my numbers, and they should be your numbers because if you follow my sales presentation and do it right, those 3 of those 10 are going to say yes, probably more, but you know, you got to get good by repeating what you say and repeating what you do. But if I want 8 sales using the 10-7-3-1 format, and I went in and figured that up this afternoon, 30% of 10. If I want 8, then I need the 30% of 27 is going to be 8.1 sales. So I need 27 qualified suspects this month. I used to think that was so hard, but no one taught me how to build momentum. Everybody just said, here, go do it, go do it. I'm not saying just go do it. I'm just saying, figure out the math and see what you have to get done. And if you're able to do it and want to do it and willing to do it, it'll happen. So my question is for you, if I teach on Monday and if I have 6 hours on Tuesday and 24 hours at 8 hours each day the rest of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, how many hours do I have to make 8 sales in a month? Well, this formula changes every week, so pay attention if you're not writing it down. In a 4-week month, you've got 30 hours. I have 30 hours per week to make sales. If all the stuff in the office is going the way it needs to go. How many hours does it take to make at least 2 front-end sales per week? And you know, if you're making 2 front-end sales per week, you are cooking. You're making $250,000 a year easy. So the answer can be plotted out if I'm actually selecting prospects who I think would actually benefit from a conversation with me about their current estate plan. But I can't do that unless I have a greater list of suspects. And it's not that hard. Just look out the window. So the question is, do I really have 30 hours? Well, I do, but only in the first week. Because if I do it correctly, the second week, I need to have 4 appointments for front-end sales. So I can't spend 30 hours just building the suspect list, but that if you don't have a suspect list, it'd probably do you well to spend 30 hours in the first week doing it. But then the next week, you don't have 30 hours anymore because you've got 4 appointments for front-end sales. And if you don't, you need to ask yourself, was I able, did I want to, was I willing to do the work? And you know, when people give me other reasons, I'll be honest with you, I don't even accept it. You know, people give me good reasons all the time, but I know the real reasons. The real reasons are you chose not to. So you know, if I do it correctly second week, I need to have 4 appointments for front-end sales, which should take about 45 to 60 minutes. And you guys that are dragging these first interviews out for 2 or 3 hours, you're not doing it right. But if they do not come to the office 1 hour travel each time. So week one, I've got 30 hours minus front end sales time. That leaves 22 hours to develop my suspect list in week two. So if I spent 30 hours doing it, I probably hated it because it's so easy to come up with suspects. But now I've only got 22 hours to develop my suspect list because I'm busy. I'm selling some front end sales. So, in week two, I have a problem. Actually, that should probably be week three. Because I teach you all, and the marketing I do is let me teach you how to use my process to make to produce an annual income of $250,000 a year, which is $20,000 a month. But it takes about 60 days to get your momentum built. And when people aren't making what they need to do, I can track it back to these behaviors. In week two, I have a problem. I need to deliver 2 trusts and I need to make 2 back-end presentations. That means I need to do a little prep. Plus sell 2 trusts. Not only do I have to deliver 2 trusts and get a prep in for 2 back ends, I also want to sell 2 more trusts plus travel. So I'm going to, during that week, that's going to take 10 hours, sell 2 trusts, 3 hours. Now I only have 17 hours to develop suspects. Plus I need to create the retire now presentation and get the needed product illustrations and print the trusts I have sold. So each week, if you're doing this, your weeks change. So coming up on week 3, it might be week 4, because some people mess around and have a really lousy first week. I have 4 front-end presentations, 2 trust deliveries, 2 back-end sale presentations, maybe 1 back-end sale to get issued, plus travel about 25 hours. I have a full week because I need to add the teaching time where I try to talk to you guys. So it leaves me about 5 hours left for suspecting. In 3 or 4 weeks, my suspecting time went from 30 hours to 5 hours. And to be good at it, by the end of the 3rd or 4th week, I have to spend a minimum time suspecting. So, I have to get really good at it. So do you. And if you're not getting good at it, or you won't let yourself get good at it, that's because you don't want to. And that's okay. You're either not able to, or you don't want to, you're not willing to invest the time. So I let the W off the hat there. Do you see what is happening? You have to get more efficient at suspecting. So there's a section in there on randallbaxter.com that says, let me teach you to hunt. And that's all I've been trying to do, is teach you guys how to hunt. Because if you're a good hunter, you're going to be making, I'm not going to say kills, but I guess that's what you're doing. So how do you find suspects? Now think about this. Spend some time doing personal observations. That means maybe a mom pushing a baby carriage, or dad at work, or somebody with a retirement announcement in the paper. But also, you should be picking up referrals. And if you're good at picking up referrals, you'll never have a suspect problem. And there's a difference between referrals and application. Referral is, and I'm going to tell you, one of the things I'm going to tell you about that. Let's see. My first sale Friday was a referral. My second sale was a future sale, and my third sale were referrals and application. And my first sale was a referral from a client. My second sale was a client whose life was changing. And my third sale was a trust review of an enforced trust that was unfunded. So don't be afraid to find a trust. If you run into somebody that's got a trust, help them fund it correctly. But anyway, you can do joint venture arrangements with other agents. And if you're not doing that, why not? A joint venture arrangement with other agents means they're going to bring you their clients, and you're going to teach them how to do an estate plan, a do-it-yourself estate plan, and they're going to ask you what kind of products. You're going to be able to show them products, and they're going to split the case with you. I like splitting cases. It gives me an opportunity to teach, and it also lets the newer agent do the legwork that needs to be done. That buys me more time. So workshops, folks, the most successful way to do a workshop is to let a professional marketing company do it for you and set it up. When you do a workshop, you actually skip the suspect stage of the marketing venture. And that costs about $3,500. But everybody that comes to that workshop, they're no longer a suspect. They've already agreed to talk to you on a favorable basis, and they're going to show up. So they're prospects. Everybody that comes into the workshop is a prospect, not a suspect. And they all came for their own reason. You can do your own Facebook marketing if you want to. I'm not very good at it. I'd rather hire it out. But you can go through the beneficiaries in your life insurance policies or any other cases that you've written or in your trust and see that those, if they're naming children and if you're writing life insurance policies and naming children as beneficiaries, you're doing an injustice to that family. So anyway, and a lot of things that I did Friday morning, 10 o'clock, I went to see the witnesses of a trust I had done about 2 weeks ago, and I handed them around to it. Before they left, they said, "What's this?" And because they said, I heard them say, "We need to do this." And while I was going over the trust and getting them, Mom turned around to Dad and said, "We need to do this." So I reached in my pocket and I gave them around to it, and they laughed. And about 10 days later, they called. You have to plan to make your list. And it's only as good as you work on it. So you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out. And I know some of you, that's what you're doing. Some of you sent me lists of 10 suspects and you just made up names. Good gosh, all you're doing is fooling yourself. So good suspecting equals good sales. I should tell people if you're not a good suspect, your kids are going to be skinny. But anyway, so let me show you what consistent application of step one can do for your business. I just want you to know, okay? And I'll take questions and here in a minute. But last Friday at 10 a.m., I drove about 30, 40 miles to see my client, to see a referral, and I made a trust sale of $1,995. That means I made $1,200. But when I went to page 2 and asked the medical questions and the asset questions, I found out that there was $2 million sitting there. And one of the dreams of the gentleman in the trust sale, his dream was to be able to fund a family reunion for the next 100 years. And he said, "I just want to be able to know that we don't have any children. We just want to be sure that we can have this family reunion paid for." Okay, but they were a referral from an existing client, and they had round two-its. And I'm telling you, if you all want some round two-its, I think they're $25 for 100 plus $10 shipping, or you can go buy them yourself. I buy them 1,200, 1,500 at a time, and I usually go through them all in 90 days because agents get them from me, licensees get them from me, and I give a bunch of them away. But they were witnesses in a trust a few weeks ago and didn't even think that I would be their agent. And you know what he said to me Friday? He said, "Randy, I've heard enough. How do I get you to sign on for us?" And I wasn't 2/3 of the way through the presentation. So I don't know who spelled November there, but that looks like it's spelled wrong. Earnings in November will come on the 10th. So I know that I've got a check for at least $1,200 coming in on the 10th that I did. Okay. We always get paid. Boy, I really misspelled November bad there, didn't you? That's what I get. Anyway, but next week I'm going to do a funding interview. So I'll probably pick up a nice back end sale there. The reason I think I'm going to pick up a back end sale is they told me what their wishes were in the presentation. They told me what they want, and they showed me what money they wanted to use. So I think I'm, sometime early next week. I don't have time to do it this week. I'll probably go in and get a nice little back end sale. Okay, but so 10 o'clock, by 11:30, I'd already made $1,200. And then I was about 30 minutes away from another client that I knew I needed to go see. I'd already got him to agree to do it. I just didn't have time. So I called him and I said, "Hey, can I come over and finish that deal up?" And he said, "Yeah, what's taking you so long?" And I said, "Well, I've just been busy." So I went over there and we moved $177,000 from a non-performing annuity that he had years ago And so see, I call that a future sale. That wasn't a front end sale. It wasn't a back end sale. It's a sale that happens to your existing clients. And here's why. He had a son who's had post-traumatic stress disorder. His son, in my eyes, is a war hero. But he came home so severely wounded that he can't control his behavior. And he killed over 40 people in Iraq. And he suffers from those memories every night. And I know he came home wounded. I feel so sorry for him. He can't get over it because a lot of post-traumatic stress disorders, those people take illegal drugs to self-medicate because they're just looking for relief. They feel so guilty that they killed so many people. So this client came to me 10 years ago as a referral, and now I've made over $2 million in sales. He told me no the first trip 10 years ago. My income from that sale is about $10,400. So from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, I drove 30 minutes and went in, and I was only in there about 15 or 20 minutes, and I wrote up the business and got out because I had another appointment at 4 o'clock. And it was an enforced trust review. The second appointment. I made 2 sales because I planned for it. I went in and I didn't know exactly how much they wanted, so I took a $100,000 illustration in. I showed them the income for life illustration, and they told me they didn't want to spend more than $250,000 or $300,000. And I said, well, to be honest with you, I don't think $300,000 is going to solve your income problem, but we can do as much of it today, and we could add to it later. So we talked about it. We wound up picking the North American Life Company, and Mom chose to put $100,000 into an income annuity, and Dad chose to put $150,000 into an income annuity for Dad. Carter's out there; he might need some help. The income from that sale alone is $17,500. Well, how did I do all that in one day? Well, I planned it, and I knew that if I did the proper suspecting, I would be able to build that into a nice Friday. So I just want to tell you, if you want a money day, I'm going to have money day Friday too. This Friday, I'm pretty sure. And I'm going to set up a money days 2 weeks later because I'm going to be delivering some estate plans and reviewing some estate plans up in the Tri-Cities area. That's where all that flooding was in Tennessee. And I've got several clients up there that I had one client call me and say, Randy, I need to ask you a question about my trust. And I said, what's that? And they said, well, I no longer have an estate. It all got washed down the river. But anyway, the question is, what is a money day? A money day is when you know everything is in line and you're hot and everyone says yes. And the more you do it, the more confident you get, and you expect them to say yes. But it's because you know that the people that you're seeing have already gone through the process of hey, I think you would benefit from a conversation with me about your current estate plan, and if you do, you're going to learn some things that you might not be aware of. And if they don't have an existing trust, I'm going to sell them on that concept. If they have an existing trust, I'm going to sell them on the fact that it's not properly funded or may not be properly funded. And their eyes light up, and I call it creating a Mr. Big Ears. If you tell somebody something that they're interested in, and I'm going to be honest with you, people are selfish. They don't care about you. All they want to know is what benefit will you give me if I talk to you? And the benefit is that they were going to benefit from a conversation with you about their estate plan because they're going to learn something that they might not be aware of. That those 2 sentences or that one compound sentence ought to be worth $200,000 and $300,000 to you this year. If you do it right. And if you're just here to steal it and go away, you probably won't have much income anyway. But if you want to be trained how to do it, I'll train you how to do it. If you're someone who's not licensed with us, I always invite people who aren't licensed with us, and those of you who are here not licensed with us, I think you would benefit from a conversation with me about how to sell you estate plans. So a money day is a day when you know everything is in line and you're hot and everyone says yes. And I don't know if you've had many of those. I try to have one a week. But I'd like to throw it up to questions. Did any of you have any questions? I know we're not getting any too technical detail today, but Lisa, does anybody in there want to ask anything?
Harley had a question in the chat, Randall. She said, "What do you do in a trust delivery? I thought I sold them the software. They filled out the information, printed the documents, and notarized by themselves."
Well, you're missing a big chance to close a sale if you send it to them and tell them to notarize it by themselves, because somebody else is going to get the opportunity to fund it. If you're mailing it to people, call them and say, hey, now that did you get your trust enforced? Do you have any questions? Now there's the next step is we need to be sure that that trust is properly funded. Can we set an appointment to go over the funding process? Because if you're just mailing it to them, there's a real good chance that they haven't done their house yet. So many people, and especially lawyers, will send those trusts out and say, here, go fund it. And they don't know how much they're missing. They might have made $2,500, $3,000, $4,000 on the trust, and then they're out looking for somebody else to write another trust to. I don't like to do that. I like to go ahead and sell them a trust or offer to review the one they have, because I know that I'm probably going to make between $5,000 and $20,000 if they're not properly funded. And some of them are, some of them don't have any money, but I know that if I approach 10 people, 7 of them are going to make an appointment, 3 are going to buy, and 1's going to do a back-end sale. Back-end sales are the reason you want to be in this business. If you're not an attorney and you want to do, if you want to help people do it themselves for their estate plans, which is what you're doing, all you're doing is helping them answer the questions. So the software asks every question that they need to do. But why do that? Well, you can do it if you're not licensed. You can make $1,200 4 or 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times a month. That's okay. But you're not doing a service, the right service to those people. If you're not licensed, do a joint venture with a licensed person. Tell them that if they want to do business with you, you'll take the front end sale and they'll take the back end sale, but they're going to have to pay for the workshop. Does that answer your question? Why go fishing if you're not going to put a hook on the line? Okay, so I hope that answers your question. There's such an opportunity into doing this right. So if you're not following my directions, you're not doing it right, and you're leaving so much money on the table. You ought to. I'd like to come up there and just take that money. That'd be good money for me if you're not going to go in and fund it. Any other questions?
Nothing more in the chat. Harley said thanks.
Okay, so go ahead.
Sorry, Randall, I have a question for you. I actually follow the first presentation, like exactly how you go, like one by one, the steps and all that. But I get a lot of people that they tell me, okay, give me a little bit of time, or they say, give me 2 days, or I'm like, is there any reason we shouldn't do it today? And then they say, no, I always wanted to do this. But then they all say that, like, I mean, not everybody, but
Felicia,
I get a lot of that.
Okay, somewhere in your conversation, you're giving them the opportunity to not buy. And I don't know where exactly it is, but if they're all saying it, it's something you're doing. I know that if you talk to 7 out of 10 suspects are going to be prospects. I know 3 are going to buy. When I hear that if you're not selling 3 out of those 7, we probably need to work on the sales presentation. Maybe you need to call Win and talk about them. But you've done pretty good here lately. But if people really want it and really love their family, you got to remember, they're talking to you for a reason. And they think it's going to cost too much, and you give them a great price. They don't want to take the time to do it, and they're right in front of you. Now they've taken the time to do it. And all the reasons for them to want to buy it are there. And if they're putting you off, we have to find out what that reason is they're putting you off. I don't think it's not in the sales presentation. It's in the technique, and we just need to find what it is in the technique that's causing that to happen. And it may be you have such a sweet a soft voice, maybe it's a confidence thing. Maybe you need to get in there and growl at them a little bit. I don't know, but we do need to figure it out, because if it's happening to you consistently, there's something in that presentation that you're saying that sets the stage for, I want to think about it. And if they know you, like you, trust you, they're not going to think about it. If they know, if dad knows that he's not set up right, or mom knows that she's not set up right, and there you are in front of them, and they haven't done it, and it's the cheapest price in town, they either don't have any money, or they don't like you, or they don't trust you. And
No, but
I don't believe that. I know you well enough to know I'm going to like you and trust you as soon as I meet you. Um,
yeah, thank
and
you.
I
No,
know
but
what your desire is.
thank you so
Go
much.
ahead.
They already bought from me. Like I sold them life cover before, like medical cover. So this is my existing people. So it's not that they don't know me.
Well, then Felicia, go and look at them and say, I'm here to show you something that's missing in what you're doing. And if they're putting it off, what kind of income status are they in? Are they middle class, upper middle class, lower middle class?
I mean, I have all sort of people. Like the guy yesterday, he has two twins. They are like 3 years old, and he makes about 130,000 a year income. And he says, "Okay, call me on Wednesday." I'm like, "Why not today?" And he
Well,
doesn't
no,
answer.
no. Okay, Felicia, here's what you do. You have so much business that you tell them that you'll call them in 2 days, and if they don't buy it in 2 days, move on.
Yes,
Just say, uh, I tell people all the time I wouldn't make this recommendation if it wasn't proper, and it wouldn't hurt you a bit to look at them and say, "Can you please tell me why we're not doing this today?" Because you know you're making a very good offer to these people, and if they don't want to take care of their family, maybe they don't love their family. Maybe they don't, maybe they've got other ulterior motives, that if they do this agreement, maybe they have to stick in the family arrangement they're in. Maybe they're not interested. I don't know. But if you'll use the numbers, and if you tell people you think they're going to benefit from a conversation with you about their current estate plan, if you do that 10 times this week, 7 are going to say yes, 3 are going to buy, and 1's going to fund the back end. Uh, uh, in order for you to build your momentum, go to the ones who bought from you and figure out why they bought from you, and find more suspects that are like the ones that bought from you. Does that make sense?
yes, yes. Thank you for that.
And,
Can
and,
I
and
ask you
Felicia,
one? Yes.
you're going to be good at this as soon as we get you rolling, get you, right now, we're just now building your tempo. Pretty soon, we're going to be able to start increasing your momentum.
Yes, thank you so much. I have one more question, if I may ask
Okay,
this one.
go ahead.
So how Lisa, she's doing the marketing and all that. So I have the list of the clients. Apparently, there is no telephone number to talk to them. I like to talk to people on the phone. However, I'm looking for the right language in the email. What to email them? So I have my assistant to email these, people that
Okay, all right. Okay,
what
Felicia.
do I say in language that makes sense and is effective?
All right, send them one of the videos and tell them, hey, inside the right language. The right language is, hey, I think you might benefit from a conversation with me about your current estate plan. I hope you would watch this video. They've given you their email address. Communicate by email, and when they respond, ask them for a phone number if you want it. But if they respond by email, I would keep talking to them by email until I got a solid appointment. You know, always communicate with the media that you have. Don't switch media. Don't switch from email to phone or email to text. If you're communicating by email, stick with email until you get a positive response. So
Okay, so
so
mhm,
um, you know um, if you have 100 names, or ever how many names, your mission is to find the 10 best,
mhm.
and start, and then you'll go into 10, 7, 3, 1. Uh, don't when you're doing mass marketing, you're not, if you get a 2 to 5% response, you're going to be fine. But you got to send them the right video. So go to those videos on your website and pick the one that you think is best for them, and send it to them. Ask them to look at it. You can find out if you click, send an email that says you want to be notified if they open it.
Mhm.
you know,
Okay.
uh, yeah, and just say, hey, I'm glad you responded, or you can even say, I see you didn't respond. But I just really do think that this conversation would be beneficial to you because you might learn something in which you were not aware. Don't change any of the approach words. The only thing that you got right now is if it's an email media, send the same message by email. Don't change the message.
Okay. And in the first email, you attach the video, or
Yeah,
just do you put the
yeah.
text?
I would put the text and attach the video, and then
Okay.
follow up and ask them if they've had time to watch it. They may say no, they may say yes. They may. Here's what some of them are going to say. They're going to say, "Boy, I'm glad you got in touch with me. My family's got a situation going on right now that I think I would benefit from this conversation, and I'm sure I'm going to learn something I wasn't aware of." You know, and I've told you many, many times, if you approach 10 people, 5 are not going to have an estate plan,
Mhm.
and 5 are going to have either wills or trusts, and 4 of those 5 that have wills or trusts are not going to understand them, or not going to be happy with it. Those numbers are not my numbers. I didn't make those numbers up. I got them from the estate planning board, and that's exactly what's going on in the country today. 9 out of 10 people would benefit from a conversation with you about their current estate plan. So, some will, some won't. So what? Just move on. If you know, you don't have to worry about your nose. I get told no all the time. I don't care
Yes.
because I know that I'm sincere in what I'm saying to
Thank
them. I really do think they would benefit. And if they don't think they would benefit, I'd rather do business with people that think they'd benefit than people that won't. And you may as well get people to tell you up front if they won't. But soon, Felicia, this is serious. Soon, you're going to become a go-to person in estate planning because you're working hard at it, and it will happen. I promise you, it will happen.
Thank you
That
so
makes
much.
sense?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
There are two questions in the chat. The first one is
Okay.
from Barbara, and she asked which people are not suitable to market trusts to.
Which people are not suitable to market trust to?
Yes.
Uh, People that don't want them. People that don't have any money. People that don't like you. People that don't trust you. Um, and everybody else qualified. Everybody else is a good prospect, good suspect. Everybody. Just today we've probably had one case for $14 million walk through the office. We've had one case with about 2 million, and we're not going to get all of it. We may not get any of it today, but I know what the numbers are because if 10 people walk in like that, 7 of them are going to buy a trust, and 3 of them are going to probably fund it. So don't worry about the ones that aren't qualified. They'll tell you if they're not qualified, but you have to ask them first. I hope that answered your question, Barbara. What's the other question?
The next question is from Susan. She said, question regarding a manufactured home on a foundation doesn't have a deed considered personal property. Do we put it in a trust as personal property? Do we need a TOD or state that in transfers to one of the daughters as inheritance?
I would do a bequeath, or you can say share the value of the mobile home. If the mobile home is on property that the mobile home owner owns, then do a quitclaim deed because they'll have a deed on the land and anything on it. But if the mobile home is not on land that they own, you just need to name it and put the model number and say sell it and split it evenly with the beneficiaries or give it to one of the heirs.
Then Susan commented again. She said, just finished another series of will awareness workshops. One of the ladies there told me that her attorney in Chicago told her she needed a trust to get one. We are in envy.
We're in Nevada.
Okay, in Nevada,
I
that's
lived
okay
in-
because your software will let you do
Oh yeah.
all 50 states. And you might, if you're not licensed in the state she's in, let me know we can set up some kind of joint venture if you have a funded trust. I've got several licensees in the Chicago area that would call on them. You'd have to trust them, if you want to get it funded. But, you could also buy a license, or not buy a license, get license in Illinois.
She wants a
Um,
Nevada trust. She wants me to do it in Nevada.
Okay, that's okay. That's
Yeah,
okay. You can do it
but-
in Nevada.
I think she's settling her parents' estate or somebody in Chicago, and the attorney said, yeah, you need a trust, and she's got like 4 or 5 properties.
Okay,
So
why does she want a Nevada trust?
because she lives here,
Okay, there you go.
and I don't know, I'm gonna meet with her, and her attorney told her she needed a trust, period. Go get one.
Yeah, yeah.
She needs
And,
power.
and
of
he's
attorney and
right.
all that. I
He's
love
right.
it.
So go get it.
Sure.
It's yours.
But I love
think
it. It's like,
yours.
okay, here she is.
Okay. All right. So, and you got to remember the power of the software that we use. You can go anywhere, but it's good if they come to you.
Yeah, it was good. It's
Okay. I hope that
love
solved
it.
that. Go get it. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're right business with us. What else we got?
Nothing more in the chat. Halle just said,
right.
I have to leave early, thanks.
Well, I have a client here, so I'm going to have to go in and work with them. And all I know right now is if y'all don't have any more questions, I'm going to have to move on. But my advice for you is plan your money day. And a money day ought to be worth a minimum of $5,000. But if you get your momentum built and discover your tempo, your money days ought to be worth $5, $10, $15, $20,000. And then you can do it again. So anyway, if you have any questions about that, email me. I just wanted to spend some time with you. Just remember on Mondays, if you're struggling, you be at that class Monday morning at 9:00. And we're going to send you all an invitation, and we're going to talk about how to get your suspects going. And then 10:00, we'll talk to you about how to convert those suspects to prospects. And at 11:00, we'll teach you how to do the go-to first interview. And Felicia, you should be there for that one. I think that's about 8:00 your time. And I think that's where we need some work. And then I need to teach you how to do the back-end sale, which is the Retire Now software, and the income index annuities with well-being riders. That's where the money's getting made. So
Yes. Where is the link to that class, Randall?
I'm
It
sorry,
will be
say the question
emailed to
again.
you.
The 8:00
Yeah.
class. Where is the link to that? Because
Uh,
is
Lisa
it the
will be
same
sending
thing?
it to you. We send it to everybody every week.
Okay.
If you're not
Okay.
getting it, you need to send me an email because we need to get you on that. In
Okay.
4 or 5 hours, I can turn you into a licensed person who should have a money day every month that might be worth $5,000 to $25,000.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and you deserve it. You've worked hard at it. We just need to get it right. Okay, anybody else out there? Those of you who attended, we had a real good attendance today. I'll be here next Tuesday at 3:00 with something to say. Talk to you later. Bye, everybody.
Thanks so much. Bye.